Comes with a bunch of screws, brackets for AMD/Intel. I had to modify mine because I didn't want to remove the motherboard. If they had just made a bracket screw that was thin on both sides, and added additional thumb screws for that thin screw, then you could just mount this bracket without having to take apart your motherboard, because this is light enough that a front bracket can support it. Aside from that, it runs. The fan it comes with is just a high quality one, and it comes with like 5 grams of thermal paste. It's not worth buying a thermal paste separate, unless you find some like extremely good one that's better than Grizzly. I wasted $10 on Grizzly, gonna return it, and tested the paste on the stock cooler and there was no temp difference for me, and people say the Noctua pastes are about 90% as good anyway. I added some example pics. The handbrake picture is essentially a stress test or worst case scenario. My CPU throttles back to 3.8 GHz because I'm using all these goofy Dell BIOS settings and then overriding them with throttle stop to get an overclock. I might have to manually adjust my machine to 4 GHz or 4.2 GHz to keep the temps low while encoding. You can see that 4.5 GHz on low usage has great temps, 54C on 20% usage, so for gaming this will probably work very well and stay well below 75C, since you won't hit the CPU usage you'd hit while egg. In Nier Automata for example it's staying around 60C at 4.5 GHz, so pretty great. Some games may be more optimized for CPU and may push it hard. Not quite sure how they're made these days, but generally they'll all leave a certain percent of your CPU aside so you can use your computer well, meaning your temps won't get crazy. Like everyone else is saying, it works great and it's basically silent. In my opinion it's a much better choice than a water cooler. Installed on my Asus C170i Gaming Pro motherboard with no problems. One note, I installed this in my Thermaltake suppressor F1 case and I put the supplied 92mm fan on the backside of the heatsink and flipped it around to suck air away farther. Right behind it I have two Noctua NF-A9 80mm fans on a NOSIC 2 splitter that suck air out the back of the case. I'm pleased to report that a deleted 8700K/Asus ROG Strix C370i combo will run great at 5 GHz, 3 offset, on the case M1 with a Noctua NH-U9S with a single fan, an identical NF-A9 PWM as rear exhaust, Y-splitter with the NH-U9S fan into the CPU fan header, and a single 120mm Noctua high static PR. I traded 15 degrees Celsius in CPU cooling performance for an overall cooler and quieter running system and I am happy. These days I'm more concerned about VRM and overall system temperature than I am about having the lowest possible CPU temperature. Click link in description for more reviews.